Hey guys, so I haven't done a ride in a while, and I broke the GoPro mount on my helmet, so I'm trying a new mount. I'm a little concerned this one might be pointed down a little bit too low, but anyhow, I thought I'd get a little ride in. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm playing a lot of golf lately. But let's go for a spin, maybe a little bit through Rancho Santa Fe. There's some nice back roads through there. And sit back and enjoy. We're still in San Diego. We're in Carmel Valley area of San Diego right now. Then this will lead us into Rancho Santa Fe, which is a lot of the extremely rich people. I think Phil Mickelson used to live there. I don't know if he still has a house there. He might. And Michelle Jackson, I think her name is, Michael Jackson's sister. A lot of gorgeous homes and stuff. And then a lot of trees, which is nice for California. Except for the fire aspect of everything. So now we're pretty much approaching, if not, we're already in, I think we're already in Rancho Santa Fe area now. The mountains area on our left is littered with humongous mansions, and a lot of them you can't even see because it's a long ride up to the house. You know, you'll just see the big front gate kind of stuff, you know. But you'll see a sprinkler houses up in the mountains and stuff. It'd be fun to have like a mansion tour kind of opportunity just to see some of these homes. It's a beautiful area. We're just maybe, I don't know, 3 miles or so from the beach. We're headed directly east on this road, and you'll notice the temperatures slowly start creeping up. Right now it's pretty nice, 76. A little bit breezy, not too bad. House to our right here, that's been here for 25 years. I've been here, and it's almost like a ghost house. Big area of land, and no one ever does anything with it. I think I'll do. I think I'll skip going through Rancho Santa Fe area. It's not really very I don't know, scenic. Scenic is the word. Instead, let's just cruise through here and jump on the road that takes you to Lake Hodges, which is it's a nice ride. It's very popular. We'll probably see a few motorcycles on it. We can go down by a really fun Mexican restaurant called Hernandez Hideaway. That's a popular spot. It's right on the lake, Lake Hodges, and delicious food and great margaritas. It's a family-run business in a really remote location. That's why a lot of my motorcycle guys like to pop in there, and girls like to pop in there. Like that's their like destination spot, and then they have nice lunch and then head back. And there's also big mountain biking is really popular. A lot of good trails along Lake Hodges that you can take. So now we're heading east. I guess back there we were really heading more north. Yeah, now this is more directly east. But regarding the motorcycle, there's a lot of there's a ton of YouTube videos that cover a lot of the details about the bike, all the technical specifications and everything else. They did a great job. I kind of wanted to share the fun it is just to ride. It's very easy handling. Not a lot of stress, especially with the DCT. Got a good weight, you feel really stable even with the wind. I mean, of course, if it gets really windy, any motorcycle is going to feel the effects. Brakes are spectacular. That's one thing I didn't talk about before in my 4,000 mile review. I don't think I mentioned it, but yeah, they're really good. And stop on a dime, even with all this weight. Yeah, here's some more motorcyclists. This is the Lake Hodges area. We're not quite at the lake yet. have this option for a road so near my house that is, doesn't have a lot of lights on it or a lot of cross traffic, some good twisty turns. Right at Lake Hodges now. Just swing by Hernandez Hideaway, give me a peek of that. Small little lakefront community down here. It's pretty quaint. Guys here, girls. Here's her in Hernandez Highway. I have a buddy of mine that has a Harley, and years ago he got pretty banged up. He was driving right through this road, and a dog ran out from one of the houses and caused him. He had to slam on the brakes, and he grabbed the front brake pretty hard, unfortunately, and just launched him over the windshield, over the handlebars. And he had just like one of those little Harley beanie helmets on, and so it really did nothing to buffer the cement. But he got a good concussion. He's okay, he said he couldn't believe it. I mean, he was just a simple little cruise through here, and next thing you know, he's in the hospital. But luckily, no long-term damage to him, thankfully, but it's just crazy. Yeah, just lucky it wasn't worse, but luckily he's okay. I think he might have switched over to a more robust helmet since then. I'll just loop around, head back, and then head back to the house through the back ways, which is a little nicer ride. Nothing really interesting really going forward here, from here. I don't want to get on the highway or anything like that. Yeah, this will be cool. There's a good view of Lake Hodges right here. That was worth the loop around. So I don't think it, yeah, you can't take boats out on it, but you can fish the shoreline, I believe. I haven't tried it yet. So I did do a trip to the Grand Canyon on the bike, and that was an eye-opener. I really planned that trip terrible. I decided to, my buddy lives in Prescott, so I decided to follow him the whole way just in case. So he had a car, and I followed him all the way to Prescott, which took about 7 hours after 2 stops. And it was way too much time on the bike before breaks, and there's no, you know, I was going through the desert. The desert was 105 miles, 105 degrees. I felt good on the bike. I didn't feel like I was cooking. My feet were really toasty, and I was wondering, my initial thought was, it's because the engine heat was coming off and baking my feet. But it turns out it's just because my shoes, my boots, my motorcycle boots are black, and the sun was just cooking them. But anyhow, there's no relief. There's no shade. Hours and hours of riding and no shade. So it was brutal, and I couldn't stop and take breaks like I would want it to. And the seat was very toasty on my butt. You know, I was getting really sore. Constantly fidgeting around trying to get a position that would be more comfortable. The highway pegs helped a lot. But it was really, really not fun. I don't know if a different seat would have helped at all, to be honest with you. I think it was just my bony butt on a seat for that long. I think it doesn't matter what kind of seat it is. But so the lesson I learned, the bike did well. The bike was fine. It did get extremely hot. I mean, I had my phone inside the little glove compartment area there, and it cooked. I had to take the phone out. It wouldn't even operate. So that's something to be aware of. But the lesson learned was I will never attempt to do that many hours on the motorcycle. It was really, it surprised me, to be honest with you, because I've done a lot of cruising around this area where I've spent a good 5 hours on the bike, and I wondered, I go, wow, and I felt great, you know, really comfortable. And then it dawned on me, you know, most of the time I'm stopping at a light, you know, getting off the seat, standing up a little bit, very periodically doing that, or I should say quite often. And that made the 5-hour rides I've done around here painless. But just to be sitting on the bike for that long was really a bad idea for me. So next time I do any kind of trip of any long distance like that, I will break it up with good planned stops, maybe like a half hour at a time. Oh, getting some good wind right here. And then once I got to Prescott, I stayed there the night, and then got up early and drove the 2 hours to the Grand Canyon. And those rides they're pretty flat and very uneventful. It was spectacular to see the Grand Canyon. It was so much more different than I expected, because you really don't get the full impact from any movie or any pictures you've seen before. It really is quite expansive, and grand is a good word for it, grand. You're very high up, the lookout points are spectacular. But it's like one of those things you see in with Chevy Chase in that Vacation movie, where they walk up and they look at something and they bob their head 15 seconds and then say, okay, done, let's go, move on. That's kind of how I felt about the Grand Canyon. You know, after like 15 minutes or so, I digested a lot, as much as I felt I needed. I'm not a big fan of heights, so I was like, man, even with the railing right in front of me, I was like a little spooked. I was like, holy shit, don't want to fall off of this. Anyhow, yeah, so lesson learned. I'm going to do a trip to visit my son up in San Francisco, and that's going to be another long ride. And I'm going to bust that up. I'll probably just, I might think of just like go halfway, and then spend the night somewhere, relax, and then do the rest of the way kind of thing. Because it ended up, I did like 7 hours on the bike to get there, to get to Prescott. Then I did 4-hour loop the next day to go to the Grand Canyon and back to Prescott. And then the next day I did another 7 hours-ish to come home. And I have to say that was really brutal, because thankfully it wasn't the entire trip, but as I was like on the final maybe 25% of the ride, I started getting hit with winds from the desert, pretty severe winds. I was even afraid to get into a lane on the highway. What I mean is, like I was favoring riding the breakdown lane because the wind was blowing me to my left. Like an example would be just like here. Let's say the wind's blowing a good 50 miles an hour coming from my direct right. Well, I was like riding way over here, because occasionally I would get blown to the middle of the lane. I was white-knuckled the whole way, and I know you're not supposed to do that. You know, you're supposed to stay relaxed and let the bike do its thing and everything. But I really was feeling it. That was not fun at all. Holy cow. So yeah, so the thing was, it wasn't like a real relaxing trip. I mean, you're on long roads of flat highway, you know, hours and hours of that kind of riding, and not very scenic. It's like desert, you know. Whereas I just love riding around these areas and near the coast, and much more scenic and more fun to ride the bike on this kind of road. Yeah, I remember my grip was really, at some point my fingers would be numb. and I would have to like let my hand rest. One thing that was absolutely spectacular, I've never used before on a motorcycle till this motorcycle, was the autopilot. That cruise control thing is just, God bless that, man. Especially any highway, long trips. Everyone knows that by now. I showed you how long since I've been on a motorcycle. That's just cruise control. Probably everything has it nowadays, But what an awesome feature for a long trip. Yeah, but outside of my sore butt, the bike was really comfortable, I mean, as far as handling the highway, it handled the highway easy, except when the winds came up, that's a whole nother thing. No motorcycle is going to deal with that very well. It's just a survival thing, But when it was just on the way up there, the winds were just very normal, and it really held the road really nice, easy to handle. One thing it did do, I mean, once I arrived in Prescott, the bike was so hot. After cooking it at 105 the whole way, hour after hour after hour. So when we got into Prescott, I pulled up and stopped, and I was talking with my friend, and we were in this parking lot, and then I tried to start the bike. I had shut it off, and I tried to start the bike, and it wouldn't start. It wouldn't even do anything. It acted as if it was still in gear, and sure enough, it thought it was still in gear. So if it's in gear, it's not going to turn over. And I'm triple checking to make sure it's in neutral. And one thing I did do, I think when I shut it off, I kind of remember when I shut it off, I think I shut it off while it was in gear. And I remember it kind of like clunked a little bit. So I might have kind of like accidentally locked it up into first gear. Anyway, it should have recovered. And I tried for a while of shutting it off, letting it cool off. I thought maybe it's just overheated. And that could have been it too, so after a while, and then I remembered, the gentleman on YouTube said something to the effect that he had something similar happen to him. And what he had to do to get it out of gear is he had to back it up, just push it backward a little ways, and then he tried it again and it worked. So I did that, and damn if he wasn't right. So God bless him. I ended up, then I could start it up and everything was fine, and no issues the rest of the trip. That's just something I wanted to point out to you guys. Yeah, so I'd be curious. I've been doing some research to see if it's worth investigating, getting a different seat. And my gut tells me, normally this seat is so comfortable. I think it's just the amount of time I spent on it. That's reasonable to think that. I don't know if any seat would help. I think that was all just self-inflicted. That's one thing I would do going forward, even if I planned like a cross-country trip. I don't enjoy, some people have no problem riding on the highway, just bang out the miles, But I really enjoy this kind of riding, back road stuff. So I wouldn't mind doing an entire cross-country trip to see my sister in Connecticut and go the entire way back roads. as best you can. I know there's certain areas where it's just not going to happen. I think that'd be fun to look into. I don't know how feasible that is, but it would be cool to just to see more of our wonderful country and these little towns and off the main drag, you know, and kind of interact with the people rather than drive hours and hours on the highway and really not talk to anybody. This is a nice little Sunday loop I like to do with what we just did. It's nice. I don't hit a lot of lights, which is convenient. It's not really at a super high speed or anything like that, so it's a nice cruising speed. Fun combination hobby thing with, you know, doing the vlogs, and I've never done that before. I have my own little YouTube channel, and combined with getting the motorcycle, you know, it's like two hobbies in one kind of thing. But it's cool because it, you know, motivates me to get off the golf course and go for a spin and try some new routes I haven't posted for you guys to check out. I really enjoy all the feedback. You guys are great, both positive and negative. It's great to hear what you think so I can try to make things better the next time, you know. But it is fun to be connected with a bunch of people all over the world that enjoy motorcycles, and it doesn't have to be this specific bike. I mean, I know it tends to be that way, obviously, because we're riding on this puppy all the time. This area has had so much growth. When we first moved here 25 years ago, this is all, there wasn't anything here. And then they just built so many homes. They built this mall here on the left, and they're still building more stuff. A lot of growth. Hard for me to get off the bike. I'm supposed to take this exit to go back to the house, but I figured we could take a quick spin by the beach, see what the waves look like, and then head back. another tip I would adhere to going forward when you're going on a long cruise on a motorcycle. One of the guys, I think it was on YouTube, he said he doesn't like to book any hotels ahead of time. He does it as he needs it, and he says it keeps him from staying on the bike just to get to that hotel he's already registered, or what do you call it, reserved. And I get that. That makes a lot of sense, because I was definitely pushing to get to Prescott the first day, and I really didn't need to do that. But I had the hotel all set, all ready to go, and it's already paid for. So I felt obligated, of course, and yeah, I like his idea better, where you're going on a long trip, just when you feel like it's time to pull over and get a good night's sleep and wrap it up, you just do it. Or, just make sure the trips are, time on the bike each day is a lot shorter, so you don't have to worry about it. New pizza place just came in. It's a sister restaurant of, oh geez, now I forget the name, but this is Bonacera, New York pizzeria, really good pizza. This is a great Mexican place, Roberto, excuse me. They're also super popular. Really reasonable prices, really good food, great like breakfast burritos and stuff like that. Good combo plates. Really, really great prices. I remembered it. It's called Buongiorno's. It's on Rancho Santa Fe, and that's also really, really delicious. Yeah, this is the same owner at the Bonacera place. They even have really good subs, like meatball subs and sausage sub. Their Italians are really, really good. A little overcast day today near the water. It might be like a marine layer thing. And it looks that way. Yeah, the waves aren't too happening. Pretty chill. Some guys out there. Back at Torrey Pines Beach. There's Torrey Pines Cliffs. In the distance you can see La Jolla, where the land loops out toward the ocean. And you can smell the humidity in the air. The water temperature has been great. I gotta get out there. I heard that it's reached 70 and maybe a little into the 70s now, which is nice. Even though I won't go, I mean, I hate any kind of cold water, so. But I might be able to handle 70. Just once you get in, that's a famous thing. Well, once you get in, it's really nice. I make the mistake most of the time. I go in like micro inch by micro inch, so it's a constant, you know, I'm inflicting myself to a slow death of cold water rather than just run and dive in. Get it over with, you know. I'm learning. Okay, we're gonna just loop back. Head to the house. This lagoon area used to be pretty, you used to be able to take like kayaks and canoes in there. And it's really, it couldn't be a better place to do some kayaking. But when some people don't respect the land and everything, they're leaving trash. And so they said, okay, you know, nobody can kayak there anymore. There's a lot of natural wildlife they don't want to mess with. I get it, but it's too bad. They can't just punish the people that did it. But, you know, I get it. One of the viewers made a note. He noticed that I don't use my front brake very often, and I had to really stop and think about it. I go, well, maybe he's right. And then I realized what's probably happening is the way I grip the front brake, I only use a couple of my fingers because it's so sensitive. It's really spectacular. Front brake does so much work, and so it doesn't look like I'm reaching out to grab it like I would with all four fingers. I just have two of them on it all the time, riding just ready to go, you know. But I do try to balance using the rear brakes and the front brakes just to share the wear and tear. But sure enough, but when it comes to stop, if you need to stop, of course, the front brakes are, you got to go there first, you know. But the rear brakes are pretty cool. The design, I'm pretty sure they link to the front brake too. So if you really get on the rear brake, it will also add some front brake for you without you even touching the front brake. So it gives you extra stopping power. Very good design there. But the front, I'm pretty sure the front is just completely isolated. It doesn't have that linkage. Back to the house the back way, and I think I'll take a spin. I don't know if I have enough video time, but take a spin through the Grand Del Mar golf course. I'm not sure if it's still called that, but they changed the name. I think it's still called Grand Del Mar. That's where Xander Schauffele, that's where he trains all the time. From San Diego area. He just won the, well, I shouldn't say anything in case you, well, it's probably, by the time you guys hear this video, that'll be public knowledge, so I don't want to ruin someone that taped the golf. They want to watch the golf later. But anyhow, yeah, he just won the Irish Open. It isn't the Irish Open, the Scottish Open. And then next week is the British Open. or the open they call it. Just a couple miles from my house. There's a mountain behind my house that's where the Grand Del Mar golf course is. It kind of goes along the top of the mountain. That's the mountain we're on now, but we're in the very top section. Guy up here on the left, he has his own little putting green. I think it's a little par 3 hole where you can tee off. That's kind of cool. think I might be running low on video. If not, it might already be gone. I didn't hear it stop, but I don't know if I'll have time to swing by the Grand Del Mar. There's not a lot you can see anyhow. You can see just a couple holes. Back to the fort. Okay, hope you guys had a enjoyable trip. Nice ride, and I'll be seeing you soon next time I do a video. All right, thanks. Bye.